You know, there's something about driving that feels like freedom, doesn't it? The open road, the independence, the ability to go wherever you want, whenever you want. It's something many of us have taken for granted for most of our lives. But as the years go by, things change. Our eyesight, our reflexes, even the way we process what's happening around us. And sometimes, those changes can make driving more challenging than it used to be. Now, I'm not here to tell you to give up your keys today. But what I do want to talk about are some of the signs that it might be time to start thinking about stepping back from driving, for your safety and for the safety of others. And more importantly, I want to share how you can stay mobile, active, and independent even without a car. Because giving up driving doesn't mean giving up your freedom. It just means finding new ways to keep living life on your terms. So, let's start with the first sign that it might be time to reconsider driving. Close calls are happening more often. Maybe you've had a few near misses lately. A stop sign you didn't see until the last second, a car that seemed to come out of nowhere, or a moment where your foot hesitated between the gas and the brake. These things happen to everyone now and then, but if they're becoming frequent, it's worth paying attention. Our reaction times slow down as we age, and what used to feel like second nature behind the wheel might now take a little more effort. Another sign is getting lost in familiar places. Have you ever driven to the grocery store or a friend's house, somewhere you've been dozens of times, and suddenly found yourself unsure of the way? Or maybe you've missed turns you normally wouldn't. It's not just about memory, it's about how quickly we process information. When driving, we have to make split-second decisions, and if familiar routes start feeling confusing, it could be a sign that driving is becoming more stressful than it's worth. And then, there is the feeling of exhaustion after driving. If a short trip to the store leaves you tense, tired, or even a little shaky, that's your body telling you something. Driving requires focus, and when it starts draining your energy rather than feeling effortless, it might be time to explore other options. Now, I know what you might be thinking. If I stop driving, how will I get around? And that's exactly what we'll talk about next, because there are so many ways to stay mobile without a car. But before we get into that, let's take a closer look at a couple more signs that it might be time to make a change. You might have noticed that driving just doesn't feel the way it used to. Maybe traffic moves faster than you remember, or other drivers seem impatient when you take your time. And that's okay. It's not about being a bad driver. It's about recognizing when it's time to prioritize safety over habit. So let's talk about another sign that it might be time to reconsider driving. Other people are expressing concern. Has a family member, friend, or even your doctor mentioned that they're worried about you behind the wheel? It's not always easy to hear, but sometimes, the people who care about us notice things we don't. Maybe they've seen you miss a traffic light or struggle with parking. Or perhaps they've noticed you avoiding driving at night or in bad weather, which leads me to the next sign: you've started limiting when or where you drive. If you find yourself saying, "I'll only go out during the day," or "I'll stick to quiet streets," that's your way of adapting. And adapting is smart. But it's also a clue that driving isn't as comfortable as it once was. Avoiding highways, unfamiliar areas, or nighttime driving can be a temporary fix. But if you're constantly adjusting your life to accommodate driving, it might be worth asking, is this still serving me? Now, let's talk about what comes next, because this isn't about losing independence. It's about redefining it. There are so many ways to stay mobile without a car, and many of them are easier than you might think. Public transportation, rideshare services, and community shuttle programs are great options, especially if you live in an area with good infrastructure. And if you're worried about cost, many senior centers and local organizations offer discounted or even free transportation for errands, appointments, and social outings. Another wonderful alternative? Walking. If you're able, walking isn't just a way to get around. It's a way to stay active, clear your mind, and even meet neighbors. And for longer distances, consider carpooling with friends or family. It's a chance to turn a routine trip into a social outing. The key is to plan ahead. Figure out which options work best for your lifestyle, and give yourself time to adjust. Change can feel daunting, but it can also open up new routines, and even new freedoms. Now, let's talk about one last sign that it might be time to transition away from driving, and how to make that shift with confidence. One of the hardest signs to recognize, but one of the most important, is when driving starts feeling stressful instead of enjoyable. Think back to when you first got your license. Driving probably felt exciting, maybe even liberating. But if now, every time you get behind the wheel, you feel tense, anxious, or overwhelmed, that's your mind and body telling you something important. Stress while driving isn't just uncomfortable, it can be dangerous. When we're anxious, our reaction times slow even further, and we're more likely to make mistakes. If deep down, you dread getting in the car, that's a sign worth listening to. And here's the good news. Letting go of driving doesn't mean letting go of your life. In fact, for many people, it's the start of a new chapter, one with less worry and more freedom in different ways. So, how do you make the transition smoothly? Start small. Try replacing just 1 or 2 car trips a week with another option. Maybe a ride from a friend, a bus ride to your favorite park, or a delivery service for groceries. You'll quickly see that the world is full of alternatives, and many of them are easier than you expected. And remember, this isn't about giving up. It's about making a smart choice for your safety and well-being. It's about being honest with yourself, just like you've been honest about other changes in life. You've adapted before, and you can adapt now. The goal isn't to stop moving, it's to keep moving in ways that work for you. So let's recap. If close calls are happening often, if you're getting lost in familiar places, if driving leaves you exhausted, if loved ones are expressing concern, or if being behind the wheel just doesn't feel right anymore, it might be time to consider life beyond driving. And that life can still be full, active, and independent. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you or someone you know faced this decision? What tips or alternatives made the transition easier? Let's share our experiences and help each other navigate this change with confidence. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe to Aging Gracefully 60 for more honest conversations about thriving in this chapter of life. Remember, aging isn't about losing freedoms, it's about finding new ones. Here's to your safety, your independence, and your peace of mind. Keep moving forward, just in your own way. Until next time, take care, and keep embracing life's changes with grace.